G'day. In this video we're going to discuss the subclass 417 working holiday visa, so you can work and holiday in Australia for up to 1 year. Let's have a look at the visa. We're at the web page imi.homeaffairs.gov.au and we're going to search for the subclass 417 and hit enter. The first result is what we're after, working holiday visa, subclass 417, which is the first working holiday visa. This visa lets people 18 to 30 years old have their first extended holiday in Australia and work here to help fund their trip. So let's open this in a new tab and go through all the tabs one by one. We're starting with the overview. This visa lets you stay, as I said, up to 12 months. The cost is $510 Australian. Processing times are 50% of applications less than a day and 75% of applications 17 days. With this visa, you can do short-term work in Australia to help pay for your holiday, study for up to 4 months, travel to and from Australia as many times as you want within that 12-month period, and you can do 3 months of specified work to become eligible for another working holiday visa, the second working holiday visa, for another 12 months, which we will discuss in a separate video. Okay, you must hold a passport from an eligible country, which we will go over in the next in the upcoming tabs. Be aged 18 to 30, and for some countries 35 years old, and we will go over that as well in another tab. You have to apply online from outside Australia, not be accompanied by any dependent children, and not have previously entered Australia on a subclass 417 or a 462 visa. If you have previously been on one of the another subclass 417, then you can apply for a second working holiday visa if you've done your specified work. Okay, and right here, if you're ready to apply, this is the apply button, which will take you to the online IMI account. You can apply through there, or you can create the account if it's your first application and apply through there. Okay, and now let's have a look at the next tab, which is about this visa. With this visa, we'll go over again. You can do short-term work in Australia to help pay for your holiday, study for up to 4 months, travel to and from Australia as many times as you want, and do 3 months of specified work to become eligible for the second working holiday visa, or the extension of the 12-month extension of your working holiday visa. With the work, you can do any kind of work on this visa, and you can only usually work for the same employer for 6 months, unless you are doing some other type of work, which is in a medical field, or you're doing babysitting, and then you need to apply. So if you click on this link, it will give you more information on what that means and if you need to extend. It also says here, if your main purpose is to work, then you should apply for a work visa. So you can't come here, work for 11 months and say, now I want an extension because I didn't have enough time to do any holidaying. So you're supposed to balance this 12 months period equally if you want to, or you can do work. It's up to you, but you can't then go ahead and say, oh, I didn't have enough time to do any holidaying because I worked for 11.5 months or 11 months. Now I want to extend a visitor visa. Okay. And with the study, you can study for up to 4 months. But if your main purpose is to study, then you should apply for a student visa. Okay, and how long can you stay? This is a temporary visa. you must enter within 12 months of the date the visa was granted. So you have 12 months to arrive and activate your visa. That extension will not, they cannot extend the time you have to activate your visa. So it becomes active on the date you enter Australia. So the 12-month period begins the first time you enter on that visa. And once you've activated your visa, you've got 12 months to before it expires. Within that 12 months, you can re-enter Australia and exit as many times as you want. In that 12 months, for example, you can go to New Zealand, come back. You can go to Indonesia, Bali, the South Pacific Islands. You can go back to your home country and then come back as many times as you like within that 12 months. However, keep in mind that if you want an extension, you will need to make sure within that 12 months you give yourself enough time to complete your specified work. Even though it says here you can do any kind of work, so you can work in retail, you can work for a bank, but to extend the visa, although you can do any kind of work, you'll need to do the specified work if you want the extension, another 12 months. Okay. If you have, so you can read this if you have another visa already, what you'll need to do to basically activate the visa that you're holding. If you want to stay longer in Australia, you can apply for another working holiday visa, it says here, or explore your visa options. But basically, as I said earlier, if you want to stay in Australia longer than the 12 consecutive months, then you will need to show exceptional circumstances. You can't use that excuse that I didn't have enough time to holiday. You need to have given yourself enough time to work and holiday. If you are planning on extending, then you need to have exceptional circumstances. For example, someone has died or someone is seriously ill and you need to stay in Australia. Okay, you cannot include any family members, as I said earlier. You are the only one who can come to Australia. If you have any dependent children, then you might want to leave them with your spouse or with your other family members while you are in Australia. The cost is $510 and you must apply from outside Australia and be outside Australia when the application is decided. The processing times, as it was 50% less than a day, 75% of applications 17 days, and some applications 90% takes 4 months. The reasons why it can take longer are here. You can read that at your own leisure. Okay, this is a very important piece of information. So the tax, you will need to pay tax on the work that you do in Australia, but you pay 15% tax compared to Australian citizens and residents who pay almost double, 30 to 32% tax on their income. So there's a big incentive to work on this visa. You pay half the tax than a citizen or a permanent resident. Your employer also has to pay you superannuation, which is a retirement savings scheme. And when you leave Australia, you can take all that money with you as well. That'll be refunded for you. So you get not only the income that you're earning, but you get all these superannuation savings that you can take with you once you've finished the visa and the visa's expired and you go back home. You can click on all these links to get more information. This will take you to the tax office department to show you how you can, what your tax rate is and how you can access your superannuation once you leave Australia. Health insurance is recommended. So if you get sick, you have insurance, you're not out of pocket. Some countries have arrangements with Australia, which you can link on this, click on this link and find out what they are. We've already covered the travel. You can travel as many times as you want, and the visa record will be digitally linked to your passport. Okay, and now the eligibility tab. Go all the way to the top. So hold this passport. So you must be a holder of one of these countries' passports to be eligible for the 417 subclass visa. We'll go through the list very quickly. Belgium, Canada, Cyprus, Denmark, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Hong Kong, Republic of Ireland, Italy, Japan, Korea, Malta, Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, Taiwan, and the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. Okay, so if you're a holder of one of these countries, you're eligible to apply. You must be between the ages of 18 to 30, but for Canada, you can be up to 35, Denmark up to 35, France up to 35, Ireland up to 35, Italy up to 35, and that's it. So those countries in this list allow 5 years more for their citizens to come to Australia, and they can apply for their first working holiday visa. They get 5 years longer. Okay, and there's some more information here on how the age is calculated, which you can read at your own leisure. Previous visas, you must not have held the subclass 417 in the past, or the subclass 462. So if you're a dual citizen of another country which is eligible for 462, then you've used up your opportunity. You can't apply for the 417, and vice versa. Okay, have enough money to fund yourself. So although the job market is very good at the moment, you still need about $5,000 Australian to come here, settle down, and find a job. So be ready to show that on a bank statement, so you can use your own, or you can show your parents' bank statement if they're going to support you. Some countries you'll need to meet the health requirement. You can click on that link to find out if you're in one of those countries. You will need to meet the character requirement. Again, click the link to find out. Declare all your convictions, otherwise the visa can be refused. Don't hide anything. If you owe anything to the Australian government, so if you were here on a student visa or any other visa and you've got some debt owing to the government, medical bills or any other government bills, then you need to pay those off so the visa can be considered. And not have had a cancelled or previous application refused. Click on that to see further information. And finally, as part of the application, you have to digitally sign the Australian Value Statement, basically confirming you will respect the Australian way of life and obey Australian laws when you apply for the visa. Okay, and finally, the visa checklist. So this checklist you can go through at your own leisure. You click the tab and it drops down and shows you more information. So step 1 is before you apply. Step 2, gather your documents. Step 3, apply for the visa. Step 4, what happens after you apply. And step 5, the visa decision, either granted or refused. And then, so for example, in gather your documents, there are not many, because you're not applying for a permanent visa. Basically, your identity documents, your passport, your evidence of funds that you have enough money to stay and to leave, and character requirements if you do have any criminal history, what you need to show. So basically go through this at your own leisure. And what the final tab is, once you have the visa, what you need to do, how to come. Make sure you have enough validity on your passport. If you hold another visa, what you need to do. So make sure you read this, and at your own leisure. Basically, it just shows you how to prepare to come to Australia once you have your working holiday visa. So just to recap and finalize, this visa, you can work and holiday in Australia for up to 12 months. You pay half the tax than a normal citizen or permanent resident. You take your superannuation savings with you, so it's a great visa to get work experience, have experience living outside your country, and you will then get an extension if you do the specified work, which we'll go over in the next video. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the extension. Bye.